Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I'll be doing my top NFL offensive lineman rankings. Before we get started, this video will be per position, so it'll be the top 5 at each position. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video. Also, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 80 subscribers by the end of the year. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's get started. At left tackle, at number 5, I have Jordan Mailata. Obviously, he came from Australia to the United States to play college football, and yeah, apparently he didn't even know how to get into his stance before coming to the Philadelphia Eagles. They took a chance on him in the 7th round, and yeah, he's definitely proven to be a top 5 left tackle, obviously according to this list. And yeah, I feel like he's a huge impact player on that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line that's continued to play very well, and as well as the rest of their team for obvious reasons. But yeah, I feel like he deserves this spot at number 5, and yeah, so I'm gonna put him there. Number 4, I have Rashawn Slater. He is the youngest out of all these offensive linemen. He is just a great offensive tackle. In his second year, he did have a bad injury, and that sidelined him for the rest of the year. I believe it was very early into the season, so we didn't really get to see his second season. But in his first year, he got named to second team All Pro, and was already a top 5 left tackle in the league. So yeah, I feel like he's just going to be playing very well for the rest of his career. Obviously, hopefully protecting Justin Herbert his whole career, if things pan out there. But yeah, I feel like he deserves a spot at number 4, and yeah, I feel like he's just a great player and definitely deserving of this spot. Number 3, I have Laramie Tunsil. He is one of the few bright spots on that Houston Texans team. They're definitely a very bad team for obvious reasons, but yeah, he's been a great player on that offensive line. And yeah, he's looking for a new deal in free agency and is looking to reset the market for left tackles in the league. So yeah, I feel like he's definitely going to be a very valuable player that many teams will want to pay big money for. And yeah, it's just going to be seen what the Houston Texans do with him, whether they trade him or re-sign him to a big deal. But whatever happens, he will still be a top 5 left tackle in my opinion. Number 2, I have Andrew Thomas. He is a player who has improved every single year. He's very young and also very productive as a left tackle in the league. And yeah, he's played very well. Obviously, he got named the second team All Pro this year, which is very good for him. And yeah, I feel like he is definitely deserving of this spot. He's a player that many people underrate a lot. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the way he plays. I'm a big fan of who he is. And yeah, I feel like that's why he's at number 2 on this spot. And yeah. Number 1, I feel like this is pretty obvious. Trent Williams. He is arguably the greatest left tackle in NFL history, even offensive tackle in NFL history, whichever way you want to put it. But yeah, I feel like he's just a dominant force on that offensive line, and throughout his career he's been extremely good, very dominant player, and yeah, I feel like he's deserving of every penny they give him. Obviously, do believe they gave him a record-setting offensive tackle deal. The San Francisco 49ers did. They acquired him. I don't know if that record has been broken yet, but yeah, he's definitely deserving of that. And yeah, I feel like that's why he's at number 1 here. Number 3, or at guard, I'm not going to do left guard and right guard. But for offensive tackles, I will do left tackle and right tackle because they are very different positions. Left tackle protecting the quarterback's blind side. Right tackle, the quarterback can see the rush. But obviously for left-hand quarterbacks, it's the opposite. But there are very few left-hand quarterbacks in the league, so that's why I will be splitting them up into 2 position groups. But yeah. Anyways, not talking about the disclaimer here. At guard here, at number 5, I have Shaq Mason. Their offensive line, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line, of course, really struggled this year. We're one of the worst in the league, and yeah, I feel like Shaq Mason, he played decent, but yeah, I feel like he didn't play up to his standards. He is still a very good offensive guard, but yeah, I feel like even the rest of that team didn't play very well, and I feel like it was not his fault entirely at what was happening on that offensive line. Obviously, their offensive lineman, their starting right tackle, Tristan Wirfs, did get injured and was injured for most of the year. So with Shaq Mason, he was really the only productive offensive lineman on that team. And I feel like without him, Tom Brady would be literally getting sacked every play. And yeah, that's why I feel like at number 5 he's good there. Yeah, I'm gonna give him the respect that he deserves, and that's why he's at number 5. Number 4, I have Wyatt Teller. He is definitely deserving of the top 5 offensive lineman ranking. He's been named to the Pro Bowl a lot, named to All Pro a pretty good amount of times. But yeah, he's just a great offensive lineman. Definitely a player that the Browns will definitely like to keep on their offensive line. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league, in my opinion. And yeah, I feel like he's definitely deserving of the spot at number 4. Number 3, I have Joe Thuney. He is one of the great players on that Chiefs offensive line that has continued to block very well for Patrick Mahomes since the disastrous Super Bowl versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But yeah, I feel like he is if not, he could be. I mean, whichever way you want to put it, he could possibly be named the best offensive guard in the NFL if you really are, if you are a Chiefs fan, most likely. But yeah, I feel like number 3, he is definitely an incredible offensive lineman. Definitely a quality offensive lineman for the Chiefs' offensive line and for protecting Patrick Mahomes. And yeah, I feel like not that Patrick Mahomes is overrated or anything. He might be slightly, but yeah, I feel like Joe Thuney and the rest of that offensive line has really skyrocketed him um, from where he was at the Super Bowl to where he is now. And yeah, that's why he's at number 3. At number 2, I have Quentin Nelson. Over the past 2 years, he's definitely regressed a lot. But I feel like he's still deserving of this spot. Despite me being a Titans fan, I'm still a fan of him. And yeah, I like the way he plays. He's definitely a dominant force on that offensive line. And yeah, that's why he's deserving of that spot at number 2. Number 1, I have Zach Martin. This goes without saying. He is the best offensive guard in the NFL. Probably a Hall of Famer. Um, he's just been a great player, racking up all sorts of accolades from All Pro to Pro Bowl. And yeah, I feel like with this is unanimous along with the Trent Williams ranking that he is at number 1. And yeah, yeah, he's just definitely deserving of that spot here. At center, at number 5, I have Corey Linsley. Ever since coming over from the Packers to the Chargers, he has definitely played better. Last year, he did get second team All Pro, and this year, I don't believe he did. But he's still a great offensive lineman, a very good quality offensive lineman for the Chargers, and has continued to hold down the fort when they had very many injuries this year. I do believe he was injured for parts of this year, but yeah, I'm not going to take that away from him, and I do believe he is a top 5 center. Number 4, I have Eric McCoy. The Saints team, they definitely slumped a lot this year, and to go along with it, they do not have a top 10 pick. So yeah, I feel like that was a very disappointing team this year, and one of the best bright spots on that team was Eric McCoy. He is a great offensive lineman, obviously due to his ranking, and yeah, he is definitely worthy of the top 5 center ranking. And yeah, it'll just he's just gonna be a great player, and yeah, I feel like for the rest of his career, he's probably just gonna get better. Number 3, I have Frank Ragnow. He is a very good young player who is definitely top 5 in my opinion. He is one of the people on that offensive line who has definitely been protecting the pocket very well for Jared Goff, who is basically the definition of a pocket passer. And yeah, I feel like him and the rest of that Lions offensive line definitely helped Jared Goff and the rest of the Detroit Lions team almost make the playoffs. But yeah, I feel like he's definitely deserving of this ranking here, and that's why I'm going to put him here. At number 2, I have Creed Humphrey. Him and Jason Kelsey, I mean, they could be reversed even, and no one would really complain about that. But in my opinion, I'm going to put Creed Humphrey slightly below Jason Kelsey. Creed Humphrey, ever since coming into the league, has been extremely good. Definitely top 5 for his entire time being in the NFL. He is definitely an incredible young player. If he just continues this for the rest of his career, he probably will go to the Hall of Fame. The fact that he fell to the Chiefs with the last pick of the second round is mind-boggling for how good he's been. And yeah, if there was a redraft, he'd definitely be top 5 without a question. He is just an incredible player. I'm a huge fan of him. And yeah. Number 1, I have Jason Kelsey. Again, this is a very competitive list here with Creed Humphrey and Jason Kelsey highlighting that. But yeah, I'm going to put Jason Kelsey slightly above Creed Humphrey just because Jason Kelsey has had more accolades. And yeah, that's basically the only reason. Also, Jason Kelsey does have a podcast I really like with his brother, so yeah, that might inflate it a little bit. But other than that, I feel like this is a good ranking for him. At right tackle, I have at number five. I have Brian O'Neill. He has been a great offensive tackle through his years in the NFL. He's gotten better as he's progressed, and yeah, he definitely got handed a big contract a couple, like, I believe, last year. And yeah, I feel like he's definitely deserving of that. And yeah, I can definitely understand why he's at number five on this list. And yeah, at number four, I have Panay Sewell here. Ever since transitioning from left tackle to right tackle in the offseason, he has played incredibly well. Definitely deserving of this top five ranking. I feel like he's one of the best offensive tackles in the league right now, obviously, due to the ranking. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the way he plays. Definitely a dominant player. And yeah, I feel like with the rest of his career, if he can keep this up, he will definitely probably be in consideration for possibly making the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't be too sure about that, but if it happens, I wouldn't be completely surprised. At number three, I have Ryan Ramczyk. Also with just kind of a similar situation with Eric McCoy. They haven't really been getting the accolades they deserve. Their team definitely slumped this year. Was not a great team, and yeah, I feel like that is not a product of them not playing well. I feel like that is a product of their team, the rest of their team not playing very well. So yeah, I feel like Ryan Ramczyk still deserves this here, and yeah, he's definitely been an incredible right tackle in the league throughout his career. Number two, I have Tristan Wirfs. Ever since being drafted, he's another player like Creed Humphrey, where ever since being drafted, he's been incredible. He's played incredibly well. Definitely protected the pocket very well for Tom Brady, and yeah, I feel like he's just an incredible player. I'm a big fan of the way he plays. Definitely a dominant, incredible pass protector, and yeah, I feel like he will be on that team for many years to come. Number one, I have Lane Johnson. Despite his age, he has improved literally every single year. Every single year, he's gotten better and better and better. And yeah, this definitely shows with him getting first team All Pro, being named to the Pro Bowl this year. And yeah, I feel like he is just an incredible player. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of him and his athleticism and versatility. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 80 subscribers by the end of the year. And yeah, that's basically it.